Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, folks. Michael Zuber, one rental at a time, and I have the one, the only, and the legendary Laura Morby with us this morning. How you doing, Laura?
Doing great. How are you doing?
You didn't know you were a legend.
I don't know if I'm a legend. I'm something, but
Oh, this is always fun. So what I thought we would do is let's take a fictitious newbie investor.
Mhm.
Let's say they want to do real estate investing. We'll say buy and hold, just to make it simplistic. Long, month to month buy and hold or year lease, all that stuff. So traditional buy and hold. Let's say they're going to look to make their first acquisition in early 2022.
Mhm.
And what they want to do is they want to spend the next 6 months learning, right? So that's kind of who they are. If you need, let's assume they're employed. Let's assume they have good credit so they can get a yes answer from a bank. But what's kind of a plan that we can sketch out for that kind of new investor? What's kind of the first couple of things that jump out at you?
Well, first off, it sounds like they're in the perfect spot. You know,
Yeah.
that's like the dream scenario. You've got money coming in, you're able to qualify for a traditional mortgage, all that good stuff.
Mhm.
Um, my best advice would probably be, not to necessarily get hooked up with a realtor, but now that things are opening back up,
Mhm.
get to know some of the off-market people in your area. So like any wholesalers, if you can go to a RIA, if you can go to just meet a few different wholesalers. That would be my best advice, because I know that they can get you a property that makes sense at a dollar amount that makes sense, that you're
Mhm.
not competing with retail people for. So I would use the next couple of months to go to some afternoon, evening, weekend RIAs,
Yeah.
make some connections. And I would also part specific and tell them what you want. I don't necessarily feel like that maybe is the best strategy right now, because things are kind of few and far between.
Mm.
So I would get really good at how to underwrite a deal to make sure that it's going to cash flow for you.
Yeah.
And it's so easy to do. There's so many resources, whether it's a book or it's a YouTube video.
Yeah.
A lot of people have like online like calculators, like they've got
Mhm.
a whole sheet on Google Drive that you can plug in your numbers,
Yeah.
and they'll spit it out and tell you, hey, is this going to cash flow for you? At what percentage? Is this a good deal? And I would probably get comfortable with a few different areas where you would be happy with owning a property, to where you are now receiving deals from these wholesalers, and you can really quick look at them and see if it's a good deal for you, and not just being like super specific. If you want to be specific for house type, I'm all about that. I love 3-2s, no pool,
Mhm.
stucco tile roof. Personally here, I feel like those are like a winning combo. Um, so whatever your version of that is,
Yeah.
but like be okay, with, oh, I found one in South Tempe versus my ideal spot of Gilbert, and be like okay with, being open to getting something in a few different areas.
Yeah.
So you can get your first deal, have it work for you, get a tenant in there, get it cash flowing, and then you can feel confident then maybe picking up another before the end of the year, or a few more if
Yeah.
you're feeling brave, or picking up another one at the beginning of 2022, depending on what's going to be happening. I mean, who knows? We don't have a
Yeah.
crystal ball.
Yeah. Yeah. One of the things, because I get to talk to these new investors all the time. Again, we're going to assume it's just, they're like, hey, I'm going to buy something next year. The first thing I would kind of tell them is you really have two things I think you need to figure out in the next 60 days.
Yeah.
Right. And one is you need to, and again, I'm only thinking about me 20 years ago, right? When you find your area, you've got to start building your network.
Mhm.
Right. And whether it's a RIA or several RIAs or online bigger pockets or whatever it is,
Mhm.
um, you've got to start knowing people, because
Mhm.
that's again where off market deals can come from. But also as you get your first deal, your network's going to help you in case there's a problem or an issue, or help you with questions. So you've
Yeah.
really got to start building your network. It's not only how many people you know, but how many people know you.
Mhm.
And then once you have your buy box, which is kind of the second thing, you need to tell everybody what you want to buy.
Mhm.
Right. But I think you have 60 days ahead of you to kind of, go into the market and figure out what kind of investor you want to be, right? Is it the single family 3-2, no pool, tile roofs? Or do you want a duplex? Do you want a house hack? What is it that you want to do? right? So
100%.
yeah, so I think that's where the first 60 days are. But I think by
Totally agree. Because I have some people that will come to me and say, I want a house. And it's like, okay, what do you want? Oh, I don't know. And I'm like,
I
okay,
want a
where
deal.
to
Don't you hate that?
begin? And so like people who are helping you find off market deals, they'll write you off
Yeah.
if you're not a little bit specific, because they'll be like, hey, I don't even know. Or you'll just end up on someone's blast list. And it's good. There are deals on blast list, but it's better to have someone say, hey, I found this and I thought about you.
Oh, absolutely. What you've got to get to, folks, is a point where you say, hi, my name is Michael Zuber. I buy in Tempe or whatever. I like 3s or 4s. You have to have at least 2 baths with 2-car garage, 1 story, no pool. Right. The more specific you get, you want to be the person that jumps to the top of the list when they find that thing.
Mm-hmm. And it comes up in their mind too.
Exactly.
Where they're like, oh yeah, I have somebody. Who was that? Oh yeah. And then they can start to associate you with what they get. So
yeah, it almost has to be like your business card or signature on your email. The more specific you can be and the more frequent, because it's how many people know you and what you're looking for is really where your network is powerful.
100%. Yep. Because when we get direct to seller deals, if we are planning on dispoing it, which we're not getting rid of a lot of our stuff actually right now, but if we know we're going to get rid of it, we'll like immediately, it'll start pinging in our mind that we're like,
oh,
okay, this is kind of weird. This is in Superior. That's Frank. Like we know immediately like who is our buyer, because we're so used to that person asking us for that specifically. So agreed. 100% agreed on that.
Awesome. Yeah. So got to think about your network first, then your buy box eventually, and then start telling everyone what other kind of a plan would you have for the new investor?
I would say like, now's the perfect time to, really get educated. But I think that time has come and gone. During quarantine was the perfect time to really spend the time, getting your nose into a book or, watching a bunch of videos, listening to podcasts and stuff. But I think that a lot of people have already done that, like was this huge push for education during that time. And so I think a lot of people are ready to, get off to the races. Maybe something that I could recommend, to be honest, would be to run it past somebody that you've made a connection with. So someone who's in the business, who's done it, who you can say, hey, look, I like this, and speak intelligently on this. Like say, I think I'm going to put about 20K into this. I think it can rent for this. I think I'm going to cash flow this. What do you think? And then let them look at it as if they were going to buy it and get some advice. I think that's something else that can help you feel like you're purchasing something confidently, in my opinion. That might make you feel a little bit better, because that's like always kind of like, if it's your first, it's just, there's so many unknowns where you're just like, am I doing this right? Am I right? Am I thinking right? And what's interesting too is like, if you get a group of investors together, like if you're in a RIA, like no one has the same
no one
buy box. No one has the same idea of what success is. Some people are like, they want to buy as many rentals in a downturn, and then they're going to sell them in less than 10 years and take that equity and then go do it again. And some people are like, I'm holding on to this for the rest of my life. There's so many different schools of thought that are going on here. So also telling that person what your plan is, like, I'm going to hold on to this for the rest of my life. This is going to be part, and in that case, you really just can't lose. If you're long-term hold, it's really hard for you to make a really bad decision. But if you're like, hey, I want to buy this and I want to, sell it soon, like, then maybe now's not the time. So just having someone else look at what you're thinking and tell you if they would do the same or if they would do something different. Could be interesting too.
Totally agree. The next thing I would tell someone to do once you get your buy box is I tell my whole 2 keys for new investors is focus and daily discipline. So with the daily discipline, I would do here is just get comfortable with the math, right? Comparing deals, looking at deals it's not algebra, it's not calculus, it's arithmetic, right? It's addition, subtraction, it's maybe a couple of multiplications and some division. So just get it. To me, you're a golfer. Hopefully, let me know if this works, because you're a golfer. This is the only analogy I could think of, right? The first time you pick up a golf club, it's like the most unusual swing, right? It's like the timing and all of those things. But the more
golf is weird. the way you
Yeah.
stand, the way you hold your hands. Like,
Yeah. But the
that
more
you
you
want
do
the
it,
lowest score possible.
yeah, what's up with that? I thought it was highest. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny. But yeah, the more you stand on the driving range and you get some tutelage and some simple pointers, you go hit 100, 200, 1,000 balls, it just gets easier, right? The golf swing gets better.
Mhm.
And that's what I think, buy and hold real estate investors, especially in a hot market like this. There's no inventory. As we said earlier, video, people are emotional and overpaying, but still you can run numbers
Mhm.
on all the listed properties, right? You just need to get the repetition. And yeah, sure, maybe they're negative cash flow or an alligator, as I call them, but still run the numbers, right?
Yep.
And then if you really want to get good, what I always tell people in a hot market is, okay, I got a negative 5% yield, Michael, everything is terrible in my market. I go, great. Well, do the math and figure out what it would take to do a 5% positive. Usually that means you have to offer less. It's okay. Run the numbers. Get comfortable with it because markets change. You and I have been doing this a long time. We saw the last run up. We saw the crash. It's back. We're going to go into a slowdown, I think. So, really beat up the spreadsheet and get comfortable understanding how the math works. What do you think?
I completely agree. The other thing that I think too is I've been thinking about this, and I don't know if anyone's thought this way, and maybe this is a really negative, glass half empty type of way to look at things. But there's a housing crisis, not only for people buying houses, but there's a lack of housing for people who are renting.
Oh, amen.
What does that do? That raises rents. So rents are going up.
Yeah, crazy.
I personally don't like to look at deals and assume they're going to stay that high forever, because
good point.
I'm not saying that like all of a sudden we're just going to have inventory where there is none, because home builders can't build stuff fast enough, and if there's still people moving in, this might last for years. It might not ever go back down, and I'm just being ultra cautious. But if it's your first deal, I feel like maybe you need to look at some historic rents rather than like what it's currently renting for. Because at this point, we're renting out stuff and we're like, let's just try it and see what happens. And it's going.
Me too.
And that's
crazy.
kind of not great to like have like this long-term mindset, or I mean, it's great for us, but like if it's your first and you're planning on it being like that forever, maybe don't plan on it being like that forever.
Yeah, this is.
So maybe utilizing some, last year, what was it renting for last year, and using that as your, if you can rent it, if it was renting for $1,750 last year and now you can get $2,500, great, get that $2,500. But when you're running your numbers on whether you should buy the deal or not, use that $1,750.
I love that.
In my opinion, I don't know. Maybe that's really like
careful,
but I just
I love that. No, I think you got to get comfortable running the numbers.
Yeah.
Right. Frankly, I don't know. We've never talked about multifamily together. I'll actually say it here. I actually think what's happening in multifamily now, multifamily being 5 units and above, we're not talking fourplexes and duplexes, right? The bigger stuff. I think there's a lot of bad deals going on in those bigger units because frankly, they're repeating the mistakes that you and I saw last time. They have a bad debt structure.
Yeah.
Right? They're using mezzanine financing, interest only loans.
Sorry.
Oh, bless you.
Yeah.
So there's actually a lot of problems, and they're using, I can't believe that Class C value add cap rates, which is how they're valued, are less than Class A today in many markets. I think there's a big come to Jesus meeting happening in 3 or 4 years and that stuff. So I think people need to be more conservative, to your point.
I agree. And the good thing is if you're buying multifamily, hopefully you've been around. I mean, I'm last recession, I worked with a family who, I don't remember if it was the dad or the brother. I feel like it was the brother who had a ton of money, didn't really care. He sent the other brother to go buy a bunch. They bought a ton of multifamily and just not good buys. Just not. And I feel like I was just the one, I'm going to cuss and I'm so sorry if I've got any families, but I was like the one asshole that was like trying to help this guy like stay above water, rent him out while he's trying to get rid of them.
Yeah.
And they lost their shorts on a lot of them. So like, I mean, I say, hopefully if you're investing in multifamily, you know what you're doing. But this guy got hooked up with a guy that I knew and, was told it was a deal. And you're talking a lot of money.
I think there's a lot of people doing that today, Laura. That's what I see at most meetups is I see more money chasing large apartments because Laura, bigger is better, right?
I know. Oh my gosh. I'm sorry. I know it works for, like I'm saying, like, I'm like just cringing about it, but like, I know, like, we've got a guy that does only multifamily that's a member of our golf club, and he's just like super normal dude. He wears jeans to the golf course. He's not fancy, but he's one of the wealthiest people I've ever met, and so it's like, it works, but you have to know what you're doing,
Yes.
you can't, oh my gosh. But yes, I see, yeah, I'm going to be really scared for that because I saw that happen to a family, and I
Me
saw
too.
how much money they lost, and I saw how stressful it was. And it, like broke my heart because like they had money to go make, like they could have just bought a ton of single family
Yeah.
and made a killing, and like they were, thinking, well, I got the, this big money, let me go buy multifamily.
Yeah.
And
I'm big, right? Yeah.
yeah, and it just didn't work out so hot. So I wonder what that guy is up to be honest. Now I'm thinking about him. I wonder if he's even,
Yeah.
because they're from California. So like, I wonder if he like is even messing around in Arizona anymore. If he's like, screw that, the wild, wild west, I'm out of here, like who knows?
Yeah. There's a lot of, I'll call it dumb money. I saw it last time. I knew a family that was worth 10 million bucks that really, they kept flipping bigger and bigger homes.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Oh, no.
Which worked like 03 to 05, then didn't work, but they kept going into 07, which is when it went bananas here. And they lost everything.
I know.
Just,
I don't, when I see people do that, like, yeah, it's way more fun and it looks cool.
It's great for Instagram.
It's beautiful. And like the stuff that you're picking, and you're having meetings with like actual designers. Cause like, you don't do that for,
a 3-2, just
half a million flips. You're just like, yeah, let's go to Floor and Decor, pick whatever is under $2.
Yeah, which shade of white do we want?
Yeah. And it's like, why are you asking me? Just go buy it. I don't even care. Like, turn and burn, baby. Let's get this done. But like, yeah, those are so exciting. And you see people do that and you're just like, you could have done 5 cheap flips in the time that you've worked on this one and held on to it and all the time it took to sell it. And then you're selling to a different demographic of buyers, super picky.
Yeah.
And you're a home flipper, like you're not,
yeah.
I don't know. So yeah, I can, oh my gosh. But yeah, but it's always that, yeah. Oh my gosh, that's a whole other conversation for another day. But yes, I've seen that and that just drives me nuts. But like when you have that kind of money, you're just like, I don't know, maybe it's a thing where you're like, I only have so much time in my day. I'll do one flip and I'm going to make,
I don't think
6 figures.
That's cute of you to say. I don't think that's it at all.
Okay.
That's cute. We're reaching now.
I don't know. I don't know the mindset
it's
behind
ego.
that.
It's all ego.
You think?
It's all ego. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's all ego. But again, what we're telling you here are new investors, don't get caught up in that. Stay, protect yourself below the median. Mm-hmm. Lots of ways to get out, run your numbers, get a buy box, build your network. There's lots of things you could do because I think the market next year is going to be very different than the market we're in right now.
Oh my gosh. I can't even imagine. I'm like, every month I'm like, what's going to happen now? What's the newest, what's the latest, what's the greatest?
Well, we will make that topic number 3. We will try to look at our crystal ball, which both of them are broken, but we'll just guess what 2022 has for the housing market. Does that sound like fun for topic number 3?
Oh my gosh. Yeah. I'm going to be bad at that. Cause I told Pace 2 years ago, I'm like, this is not going to last. This has got to crash in the next year. And then look at what happened this year. My gosh.
There you go.
Wild.
Well, Laura, how can people get a hold of you or be a part of your world? You have a great Instagram account.
Oh, thanks. My Instagram is Laura Morby, no spaces, and my phone number is 480-717-2070.
Yep. If you're looking to buy in the Phoenix or Arizona area, she's a top 1% agent. So give her a call and she'll help you out. Thanks, Laura.
Yep. Thank you.